No, you were all man?
I was all man.
You were out there in like Camaro T-shirts,
That's
doing
it.
curls.
I had,
Cigarettes.
You didn't have like a bow tie and a sport coat and shit on like
Short
those,
pants?
I had one outfit like that my mother used to try
Like
to
Buster
make me wear,
Brown type
to
shit.
weddings and stuff. But
Nice.
I didn't like it. Anyway, I know what you're talking about. And I'm in the living room.
How old are you?
Oh, between 4 and 5, probably like 4.5.
Okay.
And there's on the television they're showing like a race demonstration, like a riot, and they're beating
Shallow.
they're beating the hell out of these guys. So I keep yelling, and I must have heard this from one of my drunk uncles or something like that. I keep hearing.
He's pointing at the TV.
Yeah, I'm pointing at the TV, yelling, "Chocolate babies, chocolate babies." So my mother comes in and said, "What'd you say?" I said, "Look at the chocolate babies." She said, "Don't you use that word. Don't you say chocolate babies." I said, so as a little kid, I kept saying it, chocolate babies, chocolate. She came over and whacked me. And my mother only hit me twice. She whacked me right across the face. Once then, when I wouldn't stop saying chocolate babies. And once when I shut my...
A 4-year-old. Hold on. A 4-year-old pointing, chocolate babies, chocolate babies.
Just repeating some shit.
And when he said it to me the first time, he goes, I couldn't stop saying it. I don't know why. I just couldn't stop. Chocolate babies, chocolate babies, chocolate babies, chocolate babies,
She whacked
chocolate
me
babies.
right in the face. The only other time my mother hit me is remember those little bows and arrows? They had the suction cup arrows?
Yeah.
I got my sister right in the middle of the forehead with one of those. She had like a black and blue spot for about 5 months. But
5 months.
oh
Holy
man,
5
maybe,
months.
maybe it was only 5 days. I don't know. It's hard to, I couldn't tell time or didn't even know anything about calendars in those days. But my mother came in, grabbed that bow and arrow out of my hands, and just whacked the shit out of my ass with it.
So you got hit twice by your mom for
That's
those
all
two
I
reasons.
remember ever getting hit.
That's pretty
twice.
good for a sergeant.
Yeah.
So where did you put yourself at the Academy Awards to get the where was your favorite place to be during the Academy Awards?
Okay.
Be honest.
I mean, I could go down and watch the show and all that other stuff, but I would the stars or the people who won, most of them would come up on an elevator. So I would always stand right outside the elevator, and if it was someone I'd like, I would personally escort them. Like if Clint Eastwood or someone, I'd say, "Come on with me, Mr. Eastwood," and then I'd escort them through the whole thing.
And this is back at the Shrine days, right?
Well, no, they would. Let me see.
Or
Where
before
was
that?
it? Most of the time, yeah.
That was at the
it
Milford
was at the
House.
Shrine. It wasn't.
He imagined the whole thing.
Red carpet.
It's like Conception.
Here come the Rons.
It was the Shrine. Yeah.
What's the movie where Leo DiCaprio imagined Shutter Island?
Yeah,
He
Shutter
imagined the whole fucking Academy Awards from the Milford House.
Yeah, did that really happen? No, it didn't happen.
Oh, and the winners are then the nominees: Ron,
And Ron.
and the winner is,
And Ron Jr. And the winner is
and both people say it at the same time.
Ron.
And everybody looks so surprised. Like,
Ron Jr. 's
How did he
upset.
get it? I thought Ron Jr. was
And
a
they look
lock.
out in the audience, and everybody's Ron. So it's,
Ron Jr. was a lot.
So you would escort? Did you escort Clint Eastwood?
oh yeah, I just escorted
And
all
you
the
try to
big
make
stars. Liz Taylor.
What?
Oh yeah. Well, the last year that Liz came to the thing, she was in a wheelchair. So and she was with that Larry.
That's, you know why? She wanted to get workers' comp from the abrasive factory.
No, jeez. Remember her husband? What was Larry? Whatever his
Larry
name was.
Fertensky. They
She
met
was
in
with
rehab.
him then. So they're pushing her in the wheelchair, and this guy comes over and says, "I got a job for her." And he said, "Stand with him." Meaning Ron. Stand with the first Ron you can. Stand with Fertensky or whatever his name is. Don't let him.
His name is Larry Fertensky.
Okay. Don't let him talk to anybody. Don't let anybody ask him a question, and don't let him talk to anybody. So I had to
That was
stand
your
there.
job to
Yeah.
make sure Liz Taylor's husband never said a word.
Yeah. So
Because
people would
why?
come up,
Because he would
and I'd say-
embarrass her.
I'd say, "Get out!" Yeah, because he was just whatever.
What? Say it.
Well, because he would embarrass her. He just didn't, they didn't want him saying something stupid to the press. Because in that tent is all the press. It's newspapers, radio, TV, all of them.
And they're like, Larry, how do you feel about Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? And he's like, I like turtles. And so your job was literally.
How did
your
you know
job,
he said that?
Your job one year was to keep Larry Fertensky from speaking.
Well, just for a few minutes until they get out of the media tent.
Well, I didn't think you followed him home.
Well, they wanted me to. In case he stopped at 7-Eleven or something, but no. Anyway, that was my job, and then we
Liz
escorted.
Taylor's eyes, are they color of sapphires, like they say?
Oh, I don't even remember, really. When you're doing security work, Jay, you can't be looking in everybody's eyes. You got to be looking out just in case something's going to happen. I mean, you got to be fully aware all the time.
Were you there when someone didn't accept their award or some shit broke out?
Yeah, there were some things that happened, but like the Oscar they get on
Have
stage.
you ever worked
is
the
not
Source Awards?
No.
Yeah, you ever do the
I worked
BET
that, what's the
Awards?
porno awards called? I worked that one year with this
The
company.
AVN.
You worked the porno awards?
Yeah,
You
one
did
year.
in
Yeah,
Vegas?
No, yeah, it was. Well, no, they had some porno.
You said
awards
yeah
here.
and no 14
No,
times
not
in
in
a row,
Vegas.
you
They
busy
had
prick.
some porno
Yeah,
awards
no,
out here.
yeah, no, yeah.
I worked for 5 or 6 different security companies. I worked for a bunch of them.
So what? The porn awards.
Yeah.
What's the biggest wacky thing that happened when you were doing security? Nothing.
Well,
People smoking pot on the job. That's your big
nothing.
security
That's
story.
nothing.
I'm glad you printed it all out.
We had a guy call me one day of one of the vice presidents. We used to guard Forest Lawn up here. And this vice president calls up.
Guard at a cemetery.
Yeah.
In case anybody wanted
The
to
one
bust
in
out.
the one in Glendale, that
Yeah,
Who
the
gives a
nice
shit?
one
It's a
off the one
cemetery.
before.
It's vice president.
You don't. Let's put a pin in that. You don't find the hilarity of someone hiring you to guard dead people?
We'd guard anything. Let me tell you that. It wasn't the dead people you were guarding. It's just making sure
Keeping the
nobody
assholes
desecrated.
out.
Yeah, keeping the assholes out. Anyway, this vice president calls me up and he said, gets on the phone to me. He said, I want to talk to the boss, which happened to be me at the time. And I got on the phone and he says, I'm so-and-so. I'm vice president for Forest Lawn. Then he asked me a question. He says, do you know what necrophilia is? I said, yeah, it's having sex with a dead body. Why? Why do you ask? They were accusing one of our guards of doing that.
What?
Yeah, this guy. And he actually was from Massachusetts, I remember saying. Some guy from Massachusetts would never do that. I said, what? So he wanted me to get, there were actually fingerprints on the, body and stuff. So he wanted me to get this guy's fingerprints. So I had to call the guy in my office and trick him into giving us fingerprints.
What'd you do?
I just handed him about 5, said, look at this, and he kept doing it. And then we just, what are you showing me this for? What are you showing me?
What an ape. Dan just keeps handing him. Look at this. Look at this.
It wasn't
sweaty
him.
condensation
What do you
can. It wasn't him.
It wasn't him.
can?
He got off.
It wasn't him.
No. I knew it wasn't him anyway.
Who was it?
I don't know who it was.
It was
They never
the guy
told
that
us. But
called
it was
for
the janitor.
investigation. That's who the fuck it was.
The janitor.
It's Ron Jr.
That's in security. Whenever something went wrong,
In
if they asked
security.
the janitors, they'd blame security, and if they asked security, they'd blame the janitors. That's
Really?
way
Is
it
that the
always
battle
went.
going on?
That's
That's the movie that hasn't been
because
made
at
yet?
nighttime
And you've been
there's
both.
only 2 people walking. Yeah, that's right. I've been both, so I know the ropes when it comes to getting your ass blamed for stuff.
Jonathan Solomon used to have a great line in his stand-up. He said, necrophilia doesn't bother me as much as that there's enough people that do it that there's a name for it.
That's a
kidding.
great.
I was like,
Man.
whoa, that's a smart joke. That's smarter than anything I'm saying. I just watch what my son does and repeat it.
Yeah.
Uncle Dan, thank you for coming to Mohr Stories. And you got to be a guest in the Crab Feast.
Oh, please.
Crab Feast.
Crab Feast would love to have you, Uncle
Maryland
Dan.
crabs?
Yep.
All right.
These are Baltimore guys. Well,
Blue crabs.
Brian's a Baltimore guy, right next to
Jay's
Virginia Beach.
Soft-shelled crab?
And Jay Larson's
All
from
of
Boston.
them. Yeah, he's a Massachusetts guy.
All right.
So you guys.
What's
will
his
hit it
name?
off.
Jay Lassen.
Jay Larson. That was my neighbors, the Larsons. Everett Larson. One of the guys that helped my dad build the greenhouse.
If this shit
Everett Larson.
ends
Maybe
up
they're
tying
related.
together, I'm gonna shit myself.
Everett
Ask him.
Larson helped your dad. He was drunk on Ballantine Ale, building a rickety greenhouse.
Everett and my Uncle Herb.
This is the most confusing.
My Uncle Herb, Everett, and Roy and my dad built the greenhouse.
Yeah.
And they named it after my Uncle Herb. I think they pulled straws or something. Don't ask me why they named it after
Herb
him, but
got
that's
it.
how it happened.
What was second place for the name?
I think it was Everett's greenhouse, but they
That
decided.
sounds nice.
That is nice.
Herb.
Pansy's greenhouse, they were going to call it. But
Uncle Dan the Pansy Man.
Call it the Rons.
Pansy box greenhouse. But
Let me see that list, because when you go to the Crab Feast and hashtag Uncle Dan, because you guys work hard out there. Pleasant Valley Country Club, you were a waiter.
Yeah.
Fifth Wheel Diner, you worked there
that
before
was
you
a
were
weird
fired. All right.
those guys were in the mob in the Fifth Wheel Diner. I'm telling you that right now.
In the
There was a
Fifth
freezer
Wheel.
downstairs. They never would let me go in. I only lasted 3 or 4 days. It
Really?
was not only locked, but it had chains like this way.
It was filled with cows with 22 holes in their skull.
Fuck yeah.
cows.
Cows in
Yeah,
human
yeah,
form.
cows
and
named
cash,
Louis.
Probably dead bodies and cash.
Cows named Louis. Bunk Sherman Construction. All right.
Bunk Sherman.
Bunk Sherman.
Wait, hold on. This
It's a good day.
Here comes the crate. Someone would, all right, made foundations for commercial buildings. We would make the mold for the foundation, then sit on top and wait for the concrete trucks to arrive. Someone would yell, "Here comes the crate," and we would get all excited. You would have to sit on top while the crete trucks poured the concrete in, jabbing the crete with a long pole until your arm just about fell off. One guy lost his watch in the concrete one day and actually wanted Bunk to stop the trucks and look for it. The Bunk said, "Fuck your watch, you stupid bastard. What are you wearing one for anyway?" They got into a big argument, but Bunk won, and his watch was history.
It's still there.
Still there.
Ketchum Construction, the Hungry Pilgrim, Toomey's Cafeteria, the Steak Pub Restaurant, Circus Man Ice Cream, Northeastern, the Milford House. Wow. A Cal Security, Burns
Cal.
International Security, Barton Security, Boyd & Associates, Pinkerton, Fred Sands Realty. You a realtor?
Oh, yeah. I had a
Get
real
to that
estate
later.
license.
Gribben Von Dial Realty, Snow Realty, California Plant Protect, Wyman Gordon Company, Basics Incorporated. They made security bags, I bet.
No.
Worcester Toy Company.
Worcester.
B Plastics, the guy who ran the place, was in a Nazi concentration camp. This is where Larce gave me his lunch after immigration raided the place and took Larce
the poor
and
bastard.
Ghana Joe away.
The poor bastard.
Took him away.
Yeah, he gave me his lunch on the way out.
Wait, let's end on this story. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hashtag Uncle Dan, because we want to get into this. Tell us about, you made at B Plastics, B-E-E, you made the plastic insert that goes in grinding wheels, and the guy that ran the place was in a Nazi concentration camp.
Jersey.
But that's not even the most interesting part, according to your notes here. The interesting point is, who's Larce?
Larce and Ghana Joe. They were from Ghana.
Okay.
How do you figure?
This guy, Tony, was pissed off because, he said that these should go to American workers. And it's like, who wanted these jobs anyway besides
You.
Besides me and a couple of guys from Ghana. Anyway, he called immigration on them, and they come in and raid the place.
And what town was this in?
Shrewsbury again. Shrewsbury, Massachusetts.
There's an immigration department in Shrewsbury,
Well,
Massachusetts.
They probably came in from Boston
Probably
or something.
you know what?
They come
Probably just for the Portuguese.
Yeah.
Probably.
It is littered with Porties, man.
It is. Anyway, they yanked these two guys out, and Larce, on the way out, says, "Here, Dan, you can have my lunch. I hope it's not too hot for you," which it was. He should've
Spicy
done-
hot?
Oh, spicy hot, man. Chicken, really nice. It was nice.
So these
And
guys
I hadn't brought a lunch that day, so it
they
actually
got
was.
deported, and on the way out, the Ghanese
Fed you.
Yeah,
fed you, gave you
Larce
the
gave me his lunch.
on the way out to get deported back
That was
to
so
Ghana.
sad. I mean, they were the best guys in that factory.
Really?
Oh, they were the nicest guys.
The Ghana. So you're a big Ghanese. Ghanese?
They liked me because I said, "Ask me any question you want about Ghana." And they said, "Well," and this is a true story. They asked me who the ambassador to Ghana was, and I said, "Well, Shirley Temple Black, who it just happened to have been," and they thought I was a genius. The only ambassador I knew was Shirley Temple Black.
Yes, that's awesome.
How did you know that? And I'm saying, I don't know how the hell I know
You're
that.
like,
That's the white knight right there.
That's it.
the white
That's it.
knight. And right
We
now
like
they're,
this guy.
they're in Ghana drinking, I don't know, whatever.
Telling stories about him
Go
on their
ahead.
podcast.
But let me tell you a story about the white knight.
You know what I love about this I want to say resume is that it is dominated by food, dominated by security, dominated by realtors.
And construction.
Realty, and construction. And you
Exactly.
fucking got a master's in criminal justice. I haven't heard of one goddamn thing. A little bit of security, I guess.
A little bit of security, but I shouldn't have got the degree in criminal justice. I should have got it in food preparation or something.
You are a guy that's done every job. You really you're the guy listening to this podcast. That's why we wanted to have you on.
Yeah,
You're
I've
the
done a lot
listener.
of
You're the
jobs.
everyman. You're the guy going, "What the fuck is iTunes? What about Stitcher
Yeah.
and Android?"
Right.
And to
What
those
about
of you-
Zoom?
And those of you guys asking me, I don't know. There's tech people that take care of it. All I do is I talk into a mic and I hand it over to Corey. Uncle Dan, thanks for coming by. Don't forget to use Stamps.com and U.S. Storage.
I will. I'm going to go out and rent a storage place right now and mail a bunch of letters as soon as I leave here.
Let me tell you something. If U.S. Storage was smart, they would hire Dan Hoyt to do security, make sure nobody smokes pot.
That's right.
Next to where people hide their digital scanners from Stamps.com.
That's right.
All right, thanks for coming by. I'm Jay Mohr. Ryan Sickler.
Thank you for having me, Ryan Sickler on Twitter. The Crab Feast. The
At
Crab
Ryan
Feast.
Sickler?
Yeah, at the
Fuck
Crab.
the Crab Feast.
Fuck the Crab Feast. 5 stars. TheCrabFeast.com.
And Uncle Dan Hoyt,
And I'll be appraising your home one of these days.
my son's godfather. And I'll tell you something.
The White Knight.
The White Knight.
We love you so much that we named our son Meredith Daniel. The Daniel part is your part.
Thank you. And if I ever have a son, I'm going to name him after you.
Ron.
I love you.
Love you too.
Put your name on it.
All right.